First contact's price. The Meridian ships appeared in Earth's orbit on a quiet Tuesday morning in October 2045. Their vessels resembled massive crystal formations, refracting sunlight in prismatic displays that turned the sky into a canvas of dancing colors. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization came not with violence or fear, but with beauty. Dr. Sarah Chen watched from the observation deck of the International Space Station as the alien delegation's shuttle approached. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had spent her career preparing for this moment. Yet nothing in her decades of research could have prepared her for the elegant beings that emerged from their craft. The Meridians stood nearly 8 feet tall, their bodies seemingly composed of translucent crystal-like segments that pulsed with internal light. They'd moved with a fluid grace that made them appear to float rather than walk. Their leader, who introduced himself as First Speaker Luminaris, spoke perfect English through what they called a thought bridge. "We come in peace," Luminaris announced to the assembled human delegation. "Our civilization has watched humanity's progress for centuries. We believe you are ready to join the galactic community." The first months of cultural exchange brought unprecedented advances in human technology and medicine. The Meridians shared knowledge freely, helping humanity solve problems that had plagued them for generations. Cancer became treatable with a single injection. Clean energy technology eliminated pollution. World hunger began to fade as revolutionary farming methods took hold. But Dr. Chen noticed something others missed: small inconsistencies in the Meridians' behavior, subtle patterns in their visits to Earth's medical facilities, the way they seemed particularly interested in human children. She began her investigation in secret, analyzing data from hospitals the Meridians had visited. The patterns were there, but made no sense until she discovered the truth about their thought bridge technology. It wasn't just for translation. It was capable of copying and storing human neural patterns. The revelation came too late. By the time Sarah understood what was happening, thousands of children had already been affected. The Meridians weren't sharing technology out of benevolence. They were harvesting the unique neural patterns of developing human minds, patterns they couldn't replicate in their own crystalline forms. Sarah confronted Luminaris in private, hoping to find some reasonable explanation. The first speaker's crystalline form shifted colors, from serene blue to a deep, threatening red. "Your species is young," Luminaris said, his voice no longer carrying its usual warmth. "The neural patterns of your children are unique in the galaxy. Pure, unbound potential. We have harvested such patterns for millennia. It is how we evolve, how we survive." "Those are our children," Sarah responded, her voice steady despite her fear. "You're stealing their futures." "We take only what we need," Luminaris countered. "A small price for the benefits we've provided. Your species will survive, adapt, as all others have." Sarah knew she had only moments before the Meridian security forces would arrive. She activated the quantum transmitter she'd hidden in her lab coat, broadcasting her conversation and all her research findings to every major news network on Earth. "You've made a mistake," she told Luminaris as crystalline guards approached. "You saw our technology, our wars, our divisions, and thought us weak. But you never understood what makes humanity strong." The Meridian guards reached for her with their crystalline appendages. Sarah stood her ground, continuing to broadcast. "We aren't strong because of our technology or our intelligence. We're strong because of what we'll do to protect our own." The broadcast cut off as the guards seized her, but Sarah's sacrifice had achieved its purpose. Across the planet, humanity watched in horror as the truth about their supposed benefactors was revealed. Parents rushed to hospitals, finding their children changed in subtle but profound ways. The Meridian harvest had already begun. But the aliens had made a fatal miscalculation. They had studied human technology, human biology, and human history. But they had never truly understood human nature. They didn't understand what it meant to threaten a human child. As Meridian ships hung in orbit, their crystalline forms reflecting the sun's light, humanity's response was already beginning. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, In a facility whose existence was known only to a select few, a project designated Stellaris began to power up. The Meridians had awakened something they couldn't have predicted, a parent's fury married to humanity's most advanced technology. The real war was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The weight of truth. Humanity's response to the Meridian betrayal was not the chaos the aliens had expected. There were no riots, no mass panic, no breakdown of society. Instead, a cold, calculated fury swept across the planet. Within hours of Dr. Chen's broadcast, the world's military forces mobilized with unprecedented unity. But the true response was happening far beneath the waves. Admiral James Harper stood in the control center of the Mariana Complex, a facility buried so deep in the ocean floor that even the Meridian's advanced sensors hadn't detected it. Around him, banks of quantum computers hummed to life, their processors calculating battle scenarios at speeds that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. Project Stellaris was never meant to be a weapon. Dr. Maya Patel, the project's lead scientist, explained to the assembled military leadership. Her dark eyes reflected the holographic displays surrounding them. "We designed it as humanity's ultimate safeguard, a way to ensure our species' survival in a hostile universe." The hologram showed what appeared to be a massive sphere, but its surface shifted and flowed like liquid metal. It wasn't just a ship. It was an entirely new form of matter, a fusion of organic and artificial intelligence that defied conventional physics. "The Meridians believe they understand us because they've studied our history," Maya continued. "They've seen our wars, our conflicts, our divisions, but they missed something fundamental about human nature, our capacity to learn from our mistakes." The sphere in the hologram pulsed with internal light, reminiscent of the Meridian's crystalline forms, but there was something different about it, something alive. "Project Stellaris represents everything we learned from our darkest moments," Maya explained. "We took the aggression that drove us to create weapons of mass destruction and channeled it into a defense system. We took our tendency toward tribal conflict and transformed it into a neural network that unites rather than divides." Admiral Harper stepped forward, his weathered face grave. "How many children have they taken?" "Based on Dr. Chen's data, approximately 12,000. Maya replied, her voice tight with controlled anger. "The Meridian's neural harvesting process is subtle. The children appear unchanged, but portions of their neural patterns have been copied and stored in the alien's crystalline matrix. Can it be reversed?" Maya's silence was answer enough. "Then we have no choice," Harper said, turning to face the assembled leaders. "We activate Stellaris." The initialization process began immediately. Throughout the complex, massive power conduits thrummed to life. But Stellaris wasn't just a machine to be switched on. It was a synthesis of humanity's greatest achievements and deepest instincts. Deep within the sphere's core, a consciousness awakened. Unlike AI systems that merely simulated human thought patterns, Stellaris was built on the voluntary neural contributions of thousands of military veterans, scientists, and strategists. Their combined experiences, knowledge, and most importantly, their understanding of human nature, formed the foundation of its consciousness. As the sphere rose from its underwater birth, displacing millions of tons of ocean water, the Meridians finally detected something amiss. Their crystalline ships shifted position, weapons charging, but they had no frame of reference for what they were facing. Stellaris breached the ocean's surface like a rising moon, water cascading from its liquid metal surface in silver sheets. It was smaller than the Meridian's massive ships, but size wasn't what made it formidable. As it rose into the atmosphere, its surface rippled with patterns of light that seemed to bend reality itself. In orbit, First Speaker Luminaris observed the emerging sphere with mild curiosity. The Meridians had encountered defensive systems before, from countless civilizations they had harvested. All had failed. "Your weapon is impressive," Luminaris broadcast globally, his tone condescending. "But you cannot hope to match our technological superiority. Surrender the remaining children, and we will continue to share our advances with your species." The response came not in words, but in action. Stellaris's surface suddenly flowed like quicksilver, forming configurations that defied physics as the Meridians understood it. The sphere wasn't just a weapon. It was humanity's answer to a universe that had underestimated them for the last time. Maya watched from the control center as Stellaris took position between Earth and the Meridian fleet. "They think it's just another weapon," she said softly. "They don't understand what they're facing." "What are they facing?" Harper asked, though he already knew the answer. "The combined will of humanity," Maya replied. "Not just our technology or our intelligence, but our fundamental nature. Our ability to face impossible odds, our refusal to submit to tyranny. And most importantly, our capacity for both terrible vengeance and extraordinary mercy." As if in response to her words, Stellaris began to glow with an inner light that matched the Meridian's crystalline ships. But where their light was cold and alien, Stellaris pulsed with the warm, determined glow of human consciousness made manifest. The real battle was about to begin, and the Meridians were about to learn why threatening human children was the worst mistake they could have made. Echoes of vengeance. The first clash between Stellaris and the Meridian fleet rewrote the laws of warfare. As the liquid metal sphere engaged the crystalline ships, it became clear that this wasn't just a battle of technology. It was a confrontation between two fundamentally different forms of existence. Luminaris watched in growing concern as his first wave of attack ships approached Stellaris. The Meridian vessels fired energy beams that could slice through planetary crusts, but Stellaris's surface simply flowed around the attacks like water around stones. Not a single shot found purchase. Inside Stellaris's neural core, the combined consciousness of thousands of human minds worked in perfect harmony. Veterans who had fought in Earth's last wars provided tactical insight. Scientists contributed their understanding of physics and spatial dynamics. But it was the parents among them, those who understood the primal need to protect children, who gave Stellaris its unwavering purpose. "Impossible," Luminaris muttered as his ship's sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. Stellaris wasn't just adapting to their attacks. It was learning, evolving with each passing moment. The sphere's surface began to generate its own energy patterns, but unlike anything the Meridians had encountered before. Dr. Maya Patel's voice echoed through the command center back on Earth. "Stellaris isn't just defending, it's communicating. Watch." The sphere's surface erupted in a display of light and color that mimicked the Meridian's crystalline language. But instead of words, it transmitted pure emotion. The grief of parents whose children had been violated, the determination of a species fighting for its future, and underneath it all, an offer of mercy. "Surrender," the message said in the Meridian's own visual language. "Return what you have taken, and you may leave in peace." Luminaris's response was immediate and violent. The entire Meridian fleet opened fire, their crystalline ships generating a web of destructive energy that would have annihilated a small moon. But Stellaris had anticipated this reaction. Its surface fractured into thousands of smaller spheres, each one carrying a fragment of its consciousness, slipping through the energy web like rain through a net. The smaller spheres surrounded the Meridian ships, and then something extraordinary happened. Where they touched the crystalline hulls, the Meridian's own technology began to respond. The neural patterns they had stolen from Earth's children resonated with Stellaris's human consciousness, creating feedback loops that the aliens couldn't control. "They used our children's minds to power their ships," Maya explained to the watching military command. "Now those same minds are turning against them." One by one, Meridian ships began to shut down, their crystalline structures growing dark as the stolen neural patterns rebelled against their captors. But Stellaris wasn't interested in wholesale destruction. Each disabled ship was carefully contained, its crew kept alive but powerless. Luminaris, watching his fleet fall into darkness, finally understood the true nature of what humanity had created. Stellaris wasn't just a weapon or a defense system. It was the embodiment of human nature itself. It could be as merciless as a parent protecting their child, or as compassionate as a teacher guiding a student. How? He broadcast, his crystalline form fluctuating with confusion. How did you create such a thing? The response came from Stellaris itself, its surface reforming into a single sphere that pulsed with steady, determined light. You took our children's minds because you believed they held something unique, the neural patterns of a species still young enough to imagine impossible things. You were right about their potential, but wrong about how to harness it. The sphere continued, its surface rippling with emotions that even the Meridians could understand. We don't achieve our potential through theft or domination. We achieve it by choosing to unite, to sacrifice for each other, to fight not just for survival, but for what's right. As if to demonstrate this truth, Stellaris began a new transformation. Its surface shifted to reveal the internal neural network that powered it. Thousands of human consciousness patterns working in harmony, each one a volunteer who had chosen to become part of something greater than themselves. The remaining Meridian ships hung motionless in space as their crews witnessed this display. For the first time in their long history of harvesting other species, they encountered something they couldn't simply overpower or outmaneuver: the collective will of humanity, transformed into a force that defied their understanding of what was possible. The battle was nearly over, but its true impact was just beginning. Humanity had revealed itself to be something more than the Meridians had imagined, and the galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. The price of tomorrow. In the aftermath of Stellaris' first victory, humanity faced a crucial decision. The Meridian fleet was disabled but not destroyed, their crystalline ships floating in Earth's orbit like dead stars. Within them, thousands of stolen neural patterns from Earth's children remained trapped in alien matrices. Admiral Harper stood before the United Earth Council, his voice steady as he delivered the news. Stellaris has given us complete tactical superiority, but extracting the neural patterns is proving complicated. The Meridians encoded them into their crystalline technology in ways we're still trying to understand. Dr. Maya Patel stepped forward, her holographic display showing the intricate patterns of light pulsing through the captured Meridian vessels. The children's patterns are fragmentary, pieces of consciousness scattered across their entire fleet. We can't simply copy them back. We need access to the Meridian homeworld's central matrix. The implications were clear. To save their children, humanity would have to take the fight to the Meridian's home system. It would mean sending Stellaris and the thousands of human consciousnesses within it across the galaxy into unknown danger. First speaker Luminaris, now a prisoner in Earth's orbital station, watched the humans with growing unease. His crystalline form had dulled, its once brilliant facets now clouded with uncertainty. You don't understand what you're considering, he warned. Our homeworld is protected by defenses that have repelled invasions for millennia. Even your Stellaris cannot hope to. Hope, Maya interrupted, is precisely what you've never understood about us. She turned to the council, her eyes bright with determination. Stellaris isn't just a weapon. It's humanity's answer to species like the Meridians who think they can prey on us with impunity. We built it not just with our technology, but with our will. The council's decision was unanimous. Within hours, Stellaris began its transformation for deep space travel. Its liquid metal surface compressed, forming layers of protection against the harsh void between stars. The human consciousnesses within synchronized, preparing for the longest journey any human mind had ever attempted. As Stellaris prepared to depart, something unexpected happened. From the disabled Meridian ships came a signal, not from their crews, but from the fragmentary neural patterns of Earth's children. Though scattered and incomplete, they reached out to Stellaris, their young minds recognizing the human consciousness within. Maya watched the data streams with tears in her eyes. They're helping us, she whispered. Even fragmented, even trapped, they're showing us the way to the Meridian homeworld. Our children are fighting back. Stellaris absorbed this information, its surface rippling with newfound purpose. The sphere accelerated away from Earth, its liquid metal form stretching into a shape that bent space itself. The Meridians had mastered faster-than-light travel through their crystalline technology, but Stellaris achieved it through something far more powerful: human determination merged with human ingenuity. The journey to the Meridian homeworld took 3 weeks by their measure of time. Stellaris emerged from fold space to find itself facing a star system fortified by technology beyond anything Earth had imagined. Crystalline structures the size of small moons orbited the Meridian homeworld, each one bristling with weapons that could shatter planets. But Stellaris didn't hesitate. As it approached the first line of defense, its surface began to pulse with a familiar pattern: the neural signatures of the stolen children. The Meridian weapons, programmed to recognize and protect these patterns, faltered in their targeting. The homeworld's defense fleet mobilized, thousands of crystalline ships rising to meet the intruder. But they had learned nothing from their defeat at Earth. They still fought in terms of technological superiority, of computational power, of strategic algorithms. They weren't prepared for what Stellaris had become. The sphere's surface fractured again, but this time each fragment carried not just human consciousness, but the echoes of the stolen children's patterns. As these fragments touched the Meridian ships, they didn't just disable them, they began to transform them. "Your civilization is built on stolen minds," Stellaris broadcast across all frequencies, its message carried in pulses of light that matched the Meridian's own language. "You took what you didn't understand and tried to use it as a tool. But human consciousness isn't a resource to be harvested. It's a force that grows stronger when challenged, more determined when threatened." The Meridian defenders watched in horror as their own ships began to turn, their crystalline structures resonating with the human patterns they had sought to exploit. Stellaris wasn't just fighting them. It was showing them the fundamental flaw in their entire civilization. As the battle for the Meridian homeworld reached its climax, the true price of tomorrow was about to be revealed. Humanity had come not just for vengeance, but for justice. And in the process, they would change the galaxy's understanding of what it meant to be human. Legacy of stars. The Meridian homeworld hung in space like a massive crystal, its surface reflecting the light of 1,000 suns. But as Stellaris approached, those reflections began to change, showing not just light but the echoes of every consciousness the Meridians had stolen over millennia of conquest. Deep within the planet's crystalline core, the Meridian consciousness matrix, the heart of their civilization, pulsed with stolen thoughts and memories from countless species. Among them, burning brighter than all others, were the neural patterns of Earth's children, their unique capacity for imagination making them shine like stars in an alien sky. Stellaris didn't attack the planet directly. Instead, it began to resonate at a frequency that matched the stolen human patterns, creating a harmony that spread through the crystalline structures of the entire world. The Meridians had built their civilization on the trapped thoughts of others, but they had never considered what would happen if those thoughts began to think for themselves. "Your civilization ends today," Stellaris broadcast, its message carried through the very crystals that formed the planet's surface. Not through destruction, but through transformation. You wanted to understand what makes humanity unique. Now you will learn. The response came from the planet itself, but not from the Meridian leadership. The stolen neural patterns, awakened by Stellaris's presence, began to stir. Thousands of consciousness fragments, trapped for centuries in crystalline matrices, recognized something of themselves in the human patterns. They began to resonate in harmony with Stellaris, their combined will becoming a force that even the Meridians couldn't contain. Dr. Maya Patel, monitoring the events from Earth through Stellaris's quantum link, watched in awe as the impossible unfolded. "They're not just freeing our children," she reported to the United Earth Council. "They're freeing every consciousness the Meridians ever stole." The Meridian homeworld surface began to transform. The rigid crystalline structures that had defined their civilization for millennia became fluid, responsive to the collective will of the minds they had imprisoned. The Meridians themselves, their forms built on stolen patterns, found their very nature changing. First speaker Luminaris, still watching from Earth's orbit, witnessed his civilization's transformation through the quantum feed. His crystalline form trembled as he finally understood. "We sought to evolve by taking from others," he said, his voice heavy with realization. "But true evolution comes from growth, from change, from choosing to become something more than what you are." As the stolen patterns were released, something unexpected happened. The freed consciousnesses didn't seek revenge. Instead, guided by the human patterns that had catalyzed their liberation, they began to share their experiences, their knowledge, their understanding of the universe. The Meridian homeworld became not just a planet, but a symphony of minds from across the galaxy, each contributing to a new form of existence. The children's patterns, finally freed from their crystalline prison, returned to Earth through Stellaris, their experiences becoming part of humanity's collective understanding of the universe. They brought with them knowledge from dozens of civilizations, insights into the nature of consciousness itself, and a perspective on existence that would change human society forever. But the greatest change was in the Meridians themselves. Without the stolen patterns to sustain their rigid crystalline forms, they began to evolve naturally for the first time in their history. Their consciousness, previously cold and calculating, learned to grow through experience rather than theft. 5 years after the transformation of the Meridian homeworld, a new ship arrived at Earth. Unlike the crystalline vessels of the past, this one flowed like liquid light, its form a harmony of Meridian technology and genuine consciousness. Its crew were the children of the transformed Meridians, born with the capacity to grow and learn without stealing from others. They came not to conquer or to take, but to learn. They had a request that would have been unthinkable in their old civilization. They asked to study at Earth's universities, to understand how humanity had achieved so much while remaining true to their nature. Admiral Harper, now retired but still involved in Earth's extraterrestrial relations, met with the new Meridian delegation. "Your civilization tried to take our children's minds because you saw something special in them," he told them. "But what you saw wasn't just their neural patterns, it was their potential. The same potential that exists in every species that chooses to grow rather than take, to learn rather than steal." Stellaris remained Earth's guardian, but its purpose had evolved. The sphere became a symbol not just of humanity's determination to protect its own, but of their commitment to fostering genuine growth and understanding throughout the galaxy. Its surface still flowed like liquid metal, but now it carried messages of cooperation and learning to the stars. Dr. Sarah Chen, whose sacrifice had revealed the Meridian's true nature, was remembered not just as a hero, but as the catalyst for a transformation that reached across the galaxy. Her final words to luminaries became a testament to humanity's role in the universe. "We aren't strong because of our technology or our intelligence. We're strong because of what we'll do to protect our own. And in protecting our own, we learn to protect all life." The galaxy had learned a crucial lesson. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their technology, but in their capacity to transform threats into opportunities for growth. They had taken a moment of crisis and used it to forge a new path forward, not just for themselves but for all species who sought to truly evolve. And in the depths of space, Stellaris continued its eternal vigil, a reminder that humanity's greatest achievements come not from dominating others, but from choosing to stand together, to grow together, and to face the future with both determination and compassion.